Hi, everyone. My name is Woodburn, and I'm so excited to be here with you today at Cloud GTM XP. This is my first time here. I am new to the world of AWS Marketplace, so excited to be learning along with you and having such a great time. I'm here from Grammarly. I am our alliance manager here, and am the one who brought us to the AWS Marketplace about late last year. And we brought our second product to the marketplace just last week. So very, very new. And yeah, if you're not familiar with Grammarly, it is a generative AI writing assistant that goes wherever you do. So we have roughly 60 million daily users. Usually when I ask people if you're familiar with Grammarly, they say, we love you. I loved you in college. I used you all the time. We are a B2B solution. So you should talk to me after if you're interested in knowing how we can support your enterprise. But yeah, our background on how we got to AWS is a little bit different. Initially, we were approached by AWS leadership as we are a heavily AWS hosted product. And they kind of pitched us on the benefits. Boss asked if I would be interested. I did a little bit more research about cloud marketplaces and was really excited and committed to doing this, knowing nothing about the AWS marketplace, the listing process, all of that. And yeah, it's been a really wild ride since then. It's been almost exactly a year. It took us, I was just telling Dan, it took us a year to get the first product up. It was literally 10 months of work. And our second product, from deciding we did want to bring it to the marketplace to submitting it to AWS, was 18 days. So thank you, Tackle, for making that so much easier. And yeah, it's been a very interesting road for us. While it is definitely great that it came from our CRO, we did not have super bought in leadership. This wasn't something that was coming from the top that we were super excited about. So I had to do quite a bit of education around cloud marketplaces, why AWS, and really the opportunity for Grammarly and what it represented. And if you've done an implementation, you know that you'll end up working with a lot of different teams within your company. And this is so simple and it sounds so obvious, but one of the resources that I put together that I still get positive feedback on, and we'll make sure that we include it as a downloadable resource for you all. We had an external facing project plan. And in it, we had a number of different sections. Again, none of it was rocket science. Key contacts, cross-functional contacts, AWS contacts. And we got very, very detailed with the engineering folks. We were working with the tax folks. We were working with the finance folks. Because what I found is every time I would sit down with a leader and sell them on the benefit of the marketplace, they'd say, well, have you talked to so-and-so? You need to do this, you need to do that. So we try to proactively answer all of the questions that we got asked the most. We had our basic AWS account info. On top of that, we kind of went into the background of the marketplace and sold all of the main benefits. And we try to make it applicable to everyone in the business, not just the sales team. And then we listed out our top considerations. So again, every business kind of has their own quirks and things that are really important. So we actually called out explicitly some tax, end user, and packaging considerations that we had already talked through with other leaderships, because what we found is when we'd get on with one team, no matter who they were always trying to make sure that something else had already been taken care of. On top of that, we also linked all of our main documents if they did want to know more, and had a quick overall launch and project timeline. Again, it was really great. It was created purely for an internal Grammarly audience, but it wasn't the document that I was using on the day-to-day to kind of project manage this. It literally was just like a PR piece for me to say, hey, here's Marketplace, here's what we're doing, here's who we've talked to, this is super cool and you should be part of it. And what we found is that our contacts that were helping us would actually send it to other contacts. And by the end, we actually had people coming to us to help. We ended up in a really unique spot where our marketplace, because our listing was a little bit delayed, it actually went live 1 week after the new version of our product. So Grammarly Pro is what you'll see on our website. So I actually had the most up-to-date documentation in the company because I had to have everything written for the Pro version of our product well before it even existed. So again, very, very tactical, but this is definitely a PR sales job. And it takes a lot of education to get all of the folks you need to help prioritize your cloud go-to-market motion. So we're new to Marketplace and really kind of still trying to figure out exactly how it's going to work with our go-to-market motion. But our team is always very, very aware of what's going on in the market. So we are building out our B2B motion. Again, a lot of people still think of us as B2C. We're really building out our reseller motion. And as we do that, we're seeing right now that where the tech industry is, cloud commitments are only becoming more and more important. I think last year it passed 400 billion, unless I'm mistaken. And that number is only going up. And we're seeing that the appetite for enterprises is only becoming stronger to sign cloud commitments. And so marketplaces offer this really interesting benefit across the entire perspective of where you could have a deal, but your very small self-service deals, we're excited to potentially push those directly through marketplace. And then also all of our largest deals, it makes sense to potentially explore going through marketplace. One stat that kind of shocks a lot of my team, I think it was three of the largest 10 deals that Amazon, or who was it? Salesforce did last year was through Amazon Marketplace. And so again, the biggest deals and the smallest deals both are things that we want to consider through Marketplace. So when we really planned this out, it's a lot of effort before you see all of that value and realization. And one of the things we found is that, of course, we want AWS to bring us leads. That's a really heavy motion, and we've done some cool things to make that happen. We've had 30 leads from Amazon this quarter. So we definitely have some tips on how to do that. But more than that, what I'm looking for is how do I provide value to my sales team and bring Amazon in at the applicable time? And we figured out a pretty good way to do it. I built a Google form. I was really plugged in with the sales teams. I was spending hours a day in ACE, and I realized this just wasn't going to scale. And as I talked to other partners, I talked to my PDM, I talked to other PDMs. I don't say this in an advertising way, but there was very few options for us, and it was very clear based on several criteria that I had, the Tackle was the right partner. And so I did have to advocate to my leadership, kind of build out a case, look at what the year potentially could look like for us, and knowing that we wouldn't really see the value realization and potentially the contracts coming through AWS for a significant amount of time after our initial purchase of Tackle until our sales team was really up and enabled and able to do this, because I, as an individual, wasn't able to get out to the sales teams, get all their deals registered and help connect them, which is really where the value in our AWS relationships have come. So we haven't launched with Tackle yet to our sales teams, but really, really excited. And we're very close to that. So hopefully I'll be here next year talking about how great that was for us. So we're really excited for all that Grammarly has to come on the marketplaces. Again, we've found a lot of value in participating in specific communities. So one of our goals for this year is to get our first competency. Again, we launched Grammarly for Education on the marketplace just last week. So our goal really is to become competent and get plugged in with the public sector sales teams, which is a totally different motion than the commercial side. And we really appreciate Tackle being such a great advisor for us as we're looking through, what are the different funding mechanisms? What are the different priorities that we have? It's really been a benefit to me, not just to have the Amazon and PDM team and peers, but also experts in the Tackle team to say, hey, I only have the bandwidth to do this many things, I only have the budget to do this many things. Which ones do you think are most worth it? So for us at this point, it's working with the Amazon communities and also working to get several competencies. Well, thank you so much again, Tackle, for having me. Our journey with Amazon has been fantastic and one that is definitely evolving. So I am very excited to be here learning along with all of you all today. And yesterday was so great. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn, Corey Woodburn. And again, if you have any questions or figuring out how to get your leaders bought in, I'm happy to help in any way I can. Thank you again, Tackle team.